Other big games on Saturday. The one game I just wanted to touch on, I really don't need to get, overly into it, but is the Notre Dame versus Navy game. For
Played
those
in Ireland, right?
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, they play in Ireland. The game kicks off at like 9 a.m. It's an early game on Saturday.
Well, it's late over there. It's an afternoon game over there.
Yeah, it's late in Ireland. For us, it's a little early. Fife, I appreciate you pointing out that Eli signed the locker room after the win. Yeah, it really, thanks. Appreciate that. Anyway, so I think that's really cool that they're playing over in Ireland. I mean, they do NFL games over in Europe, but it's only over in England. It's the only place they've played an NFL game, with actual NFL teams. They used to have NFL Euro, but that bombed so royally it wasn't even funny. But I just think it's cool that they're playing over in Ireland, and I also, really what I'm excited about is the hope that you grow the game internationally, because to me, that would be the next step for for football to go, or American football. Let me say it the right way for anybody that might be listening.
I think
internationally.
That's the biggest drag on football or American football is that we call it football, and everywhere else in the world, football is soccer.
Yes, we are the only ones that call our football football.
So.
I got to give you that one. That stinks, but it is what it is.
It's I know they're trying to grow it into that, but I mean, the NFL's been around for 50, 60 years. If the other countries aren't playing it by now, I don't know how many of them. Plus, you need money to play football. You got to get pads, jerseys, helmets. Some of these places around the world can't afford all the equipment, the nonsense, the preparations of the fields and everything else. It's easier to get on a field and play soccer than it is to get on a field and play football. So I think it hurts the world game a little bit. Now, places like England and Ireland, maybe we can expand to there, but I just don't see it growing as a world sport necessarily. It's the biggest sport in America, but I don't see it necessarily as, in 20 years from now, saying it's one of the biggest sports in the world.
Yeah, and I completely know where you're coming from, especially for the fact that a large amount of European people actually think football is a wussy sport because they wear pads compared to playing a game like rugby where they pretty much hit each other the same way, but they don't wear pads.
Yeah.
Now, are they as athletic? Are they as fast? Are they as strong, the guys that play rugby? No, because if they probably were, they probably would have to wear pads because they kill each other.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. I'm just really excited about the game itself. I think that's really cool to be playing over in Ireland. I think it might be the first time Notre Dame's played over there ever, as far as I know. I don't know of Notre Dame ever playing in Ireland. Anybody out there that might know, please feel free to let me know.
I don't think they've ever played in Ireland. I think this is the first time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as well, which is really exciting. I'm interested to see what stadium they play in. I don't know if they're going to play in a soccer stadium or, I don't know what kind of stadiums they even have out in Ireland. My vision of Ireland is just beautiful green land. I'm an Irish man, so I got to have some type of positive twist for my land of Ireland. But anyway, outside of that game, you got number 11 West Virginia playing Marshall. They should be able to take that.
Because I want to see how West Virginia handles the Big 12 too, being in the bigger conference. I think they're actually going to play really well this year. And I think they're going to roll over. I don't think anybody will argue they're going to roll over Marshall.
They should. I mean, if they don't, that's going to be one hell of an upset. Yeah. And that's what when we're done going through some of the games, I want to ask you if you have any upsets that you could see happening. Well, I'll get to that in 1 minute. Another game that I'm interested in watching, just really based to see what product is put on the field, is Miami of Ohio at Ohio State. Urban Meyer making his coaching debut with Ohio State. And I'm just curious to see, because I've been watching on SportsCenter all these, that inside look at the Gator or at Ohio State's training camp with Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And I've had an opportunity to watch a couple of those. And, I mean, if he coaches on the field the way he coaches in practice, he must be one scary, scary man, because
that's why he had so many health problems.
Well, yeah, because he gets so...
Which, to be honest, I don't know how deep to go into those health problems, because if he had such bad health problems, why is he coaching at Ohio State 2 years later? I don't think he necessarily got healed. he had for whatever, heart conditions, back conditions.
Well, I think so. I think more of that than anything was just an overwhelming amount of stress. And the man simply just saying, I want to spend some time.
In the SEC. We did win 2 national championships with Florida, He is a great college coach. I'm not taking anything at all away from Urban Meyer, but I think the stress of having to win a national championship every single year just finally got to him. Where at least at Ohio State, yeah, they have the aspirations to win a national championship.
They're banned for at least
for a couple years.
Yeah, I know
for 2 years. I think
it's a 2-year ban from being able to play in
So
bowl
I mean,
games.
it gives him time to build the program up a little bit. It takes the pressure off of him having to get to that game. It's a little less stressful for him, and he plays in a conference that he doesn't have to worry about running a gauntlet every single week of who's on the schedule next week. It's granted. I mean, the Big Ten has a few teams like Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan, even Nebraska now. They don't have
who's actually ranked higher than Ohio State.
Yeah,
Nebraska
and they
is
should
ranked
be.
17th.
Nebraska's a good team.
Well, look at I mean, honestly, based on think about what you're saying. You got number 18 Ohio State, number 12 Wisconsin, number 17 Nebraska, number 8 Michigan. I'm not 100% sure who else is in the Big Ten. Clemson is a big.
No, they're an ACC.
ACC. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, but that's 4 ranked teams right there in your conference. Now, let's be honest. I think we all agree the fact that it's not SEC, it's not Alabama, it's not LSU, it's not even. I mean, not even Auburn. I mean, Auburn's not ranked this year, but
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, let's be serious.
South Carolina.
Yeah, and the list goes on. It's a
Florida,
gauntlet of hard teams to play against. But I'm just interested to see how Urban Meyer gets this Ohio State team to play. I'm very interested to see it because I think, like I said, if they play how they practice, if he coaches how he coaches in practice, no matter what, they're going to be a physically and mentally tough team in the game.
I expect them to be that. I expect them to be a very, very tough team to play against. Urban Meyer's a great coach. You can't take anything away from him.
Yeah, so
he won everywhere he's been. He's won on some level. So he's great. It's a steal for Ohio State, especially after the Tressel debacle.
Yeah, right.
to get a coach like Urban Meyer to come in there.
The Terrell Pryor, let's sell jerseys and sign autographs and make money off of it when we're not supposed to, which is a whole nother conversation maybe me and you can get into one day. In my opinion, that's just ridiculous to punish a program for that, but we can get into that a whole nother day because that's a whole nother conversation. Another game that I was interested, I mentioned Clemson before. They play Auburn. So that should be an interesting game. 2 tough teams. Auburn's not even ranked this year, which I can't say surprises me too much, but they're still going to be a tough team to play. They're not going to be an easy win. You're not going to walk all over them. And I think Clemson should have their hands full playing Auburn this year. I don't know much about Auburn's team as a whole, but what I do know is that the sort of spread offense that they run is well executed. And I know defensively, just being in the conference they're in, they're pretty damn good. They're not, now I'm not going to put them Alabama, LSU level, but they're pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
So
it should be a good game between them and Clemson, honestly. Should be a really good game between them and Clemson.
Let's hope. Let's really hope. I mean, in my opinion, that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for more than anything this Saturday is the games to be good. Like I said, I can't stand turning on a college football game and it being 63-3. I just can't stand. I'm sorry. It's just, why play it? I mean, why play it? You could play that same damn game 10 times and you're going to end up with a similar result every time. I mean, maybe 1 out of those 10 times you might get the team to make it a close game. But let's be serious. And then the last game I wanted to mention that's being played on Saturday, and just strictly for the fact that I'm very interested to see what the Penn State does. Ohio at Penn State. I just don't know what Penn State's going to bring.
Penn State's going to have a good year. I talk a lot about this with my buddy Fife. He's a big Penn State fan. And I agree with what he says. And what he says is that the team isn't, as far as talent-wise, they lost some guys. They lost about 8 or 9 guys transferring to other schools. But their talent level didn't dip that much this year. So I think they're going to have a solid year. I think they're probably going to be, at least 6, 7, 8 win team, above 500. have a pretty strong year. I think it's in the next 2 to 3 years following that you're going to see the dip in production from Penn State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I honestly think they'll roll over.
They're going to have
Miami
a hard time
of Ohio.
recruiting. They're definitely going to have a hard time recruiting, which is the backbone to, to the backbone of developing your college program is recruiting. It's going to take them a while to be able to start recruiting, 5-star, 4-star kids back to their school.
So, but for this year, I don't think they're going to be terrible this year.
I actually don't think so either. And I think the main reason why I don't think they're going to be terrible is I feel like to them they have something to prove to everybody. And I actually am including the fans with that as well. I think you're going to see more fans at Penn State road games than you have ever seen before. I think the fans at this opening game on Saturday are going to be insane. And we actually have a phone call. All right, thanks for calling in. You're on with Sports Zone. Who's this?
This is Fife from the chat room.
Oh, what's up, Fife? How you doing, pal?
How's it going, man? I just have a question for you guys. You think that maybe the recruiting process won't be so bad in a couple of years for them with the way the media is today, and how the heightened media coverage behind this whole scandal? As sad as it is to say,
I think
they're going to be more nationally televised at this point.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to the Penn State recruiting and what might go on for them in the upcoming years, I think what you're going to see is you're going to get that 1 or 2 kids that are a higher prospect that want to go there because since they were kids, they've wanted to go there, and they don't care what anybody says or what might have happened. That was their dream, and you're going to see them go there. I think what you're really going to hope to see is, the new head coach, O'Brien, is that?
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien, I think it is. Yeah, Bill O'Brien. I think what you're going to see is how good he is as a recruiter, because I think everybody expects him to be a pretty good coach. Any man that has the cojones to scream at Tom Brady right in his face, in my opinion, has the balls to be a good head coach. He's not scared to get on people.
He might be a good head coach, but I disagree a little there because I think, now a point to what Fife said, they're getting a lot of national media attention right now. And that's all well and good. And, maybe it helps turn the tide so people don't think as badly of the program. But in the next few years, as their production dips, you're going to see them less and less on TV. They're going to be on less.
You got to give Bill O'Brien a lot of credit, too, because he could have bailed.
Oh, my God. Yeah, listen, honestly, who would have been mad at him? He could have pulled the Lane Kiffin.
Scandal, though. He came in after the scandal had broke, so he knew what he was walking into. But I just think that the media coverage now isn't going to be the same media coverage they have in 2 to 3 years from now. And they're not going to be on television. They might be on more now this year, but like I said, in 2 years and 3 years from now, they're not going to be on as much.
Something else to cover at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, and by then, their talent level will have dipped. They'll probably be a below 500 team for a few years, and I just don't think they're going to be able to recruit as well nationally because they're not going to be as nationally televised, being that they're not at the level they once were.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me call in. Eric,
No problem.
I can't call you Eric. It's too weird for me. Chunk, it's great to hear you back on there. Dave, great job. And I'll be listening for the next... Well, you guys were 17 minutes late getting on, so I expect you to go till 12:17.
We'll do our best for you, Fife, man. Thanks for calling in, dude. Appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got to say, I know where you're coming from with that, and I do agree the media coverage when it comes down to Penn State will without a doubt continue to decline over the next couple of years. But at the same time, what I do think will happen is once their bowl bans go away and they have an opportunity, what you have to hope for is that they stay, maybe not you, but as a Penn State fan, what I think you have to hope for is that they just stay a consistent football program. Good coaching can win you games in college football. You don't need to always have the best talent. So if you can get the pieces you need to execute what you want to execute and be a good head coach, O'Brien can still lead this team to winning some games, winning some important games, and hence getting them back in the news in a positive note.